Good morning, everybody. Today I'm going to be talking about the lovely Hannah. So Hannah is a 41-year-old mum of two. She had some mental health issues around anxiety. She suffered from depression, had super high stress, heartburn, bloating, night sweats, and ringworms, and fungal infections of her fingers. So hi everyone, I am Ange Sinclair and I am the Digestive Detective. So let's get right into Hannah's case. So Hannah had many health issues over the year, and she had a very tumultuous childhood. She felt like she'd worked through a lot of her mental health issues, although there was still a big daily struggle around them. Her marriage was really stressful, and she had two almost grown daughters. She was a nail chewer, and she'd completely chewed her nails to the quick and beyond, up to the point where her nails were the worst that I had ever seen in terms of damage to the nail and to the surrounding area. They also were loaded with fungal infections because of all the bacteria that was being processed to them or put on them when she put them in her mouth. So she was struggling with a ringworm that she'd had for a really long time as well. And she had lots of niggling, small digestive issue symptoms. Which was really interesting why she had this, because she had a really good diet, so very interesting to see. So to start the process, she told me her story, which is what I often like to start with things, because people a lot of times feel unheard in what's happening for them, and I think that when people feel unheard, it's hard for them to get the results they need. So one of the first things that we did for her was send her to the dentist. She hadn't been to the dentist in 5 years. So people underappreciate it. And I know I've talked about this before, but people underappreciate how important it is that the bacteria in your mouth. So if you have the wrong bacteria in your mouth, you have a higher chance of having a heart attack. So I always start with, and I always ask people about, when was the last time you went to the dentist, and was there any problems? I feel like I'm in a disco here tonight with that strobing light. So if you have a bacteria in your mouth, or an overgrowth of bacteria in your mouth, you're likely to have the same infection in your gut. So every 6 months we should be taking ourselves off to the dentist. So if you haven't been lately, please go and get a checkup. I often check people's tongues to see what's going on for them too. Your tongue should be a nice pink with no cracks, no scalloping. It should be still, not quivering. It should have a really light white coating over it. So you could check your tongue in the mirror as when you get off from listening to me, and it gives you a great indication of what's happening in your body. So if your tongue's got a big crack in the middle, that's likely long-term digestive issues. If it's covered in a big white coating or a yellow coating or a black coating, then you need sort of some help around that, because that is not a normal tongue function. And if it's shaky, that is really about your nervous system. If it's a really shaky tongue, that tells me that your nervous system is working overtime. Hi everybody, leave me a comment. I can't see them, but I'll respond as we go through. So due to such high stress and anxiety, it was best to send Hannah away with some magnesium, because I thought she was, her tongue was shaking like it was gonna run out of her mouth. So I thought just do one thing and get her to tackle her nervous system first. Her stress level was a 12.5 out of 10, so we needed to get that better before we did anything else. We also talked about the benefit of going to counselling and doing some counselling, because I see with a lot of clients, if they haven't really worked through any emotional trauma stuff that they've had in their life, they don't get better to the full extent that they could. So I sent her off with a mag and a food, mood and poo journal, which is my favorite thing. And on her return visit, I discovered that she had been drinking 1 glass of water a day. So it's hard for your bowel to work properly if you aren't getting the right ingredients for success. Water plays a really big part in our bowel's motility, and how much mucus you make in your stomach. You want to be able to produce that mucus, as the bacteria rely on it for food. So if there's no food, they will actually eat your gut wall. So you don't want that to happen. So aim for about 1.5 to 2 litres of water per day, unless you're super active, and in that case you will need more. You know, and as we read through Hannah's food chart, I noticed that she wasn't having much protein. Her diet, the foods that she was eating were really fantastic, but she wasn't having much protein. And she was always putting this down to, she said, I feel really full all the time, like I'm not digesting it, like it's just sitting around in my stomach. So I don't eat it all that often because I feel like it affects me that way. So when you don't have enough protein, it will affect your energy, your sleep, how your body repairs, your muscles, how you repair after sport or exercise. And we talked about adding protein to every meal, whether that be a good amount or small amount of really good quality animal proteins or plant proteins. We gave her herbs and garlic for the ringworm and for her nails to start. I also got her to put some apple cider vinegar topically on the ringworm. And for people who have a long-term ringworms, because sometimes they're really hard to get rid of, there's an old cure midstream urine that you can put on them. And it has to be your own urine, of course, you don't want anybody else's, but that works a treat for getting rid of ringworm if you can't get rid of them. The other thing I did, I made her a bottle of herbs for the fungal infections as well that was happening for her. I also put in bark flowers. So bark flowers are essences that are used for emotional challenges, and they're very specific to things. For example, oak is for a person that is always capable and focused and stand tall and be really focused, and now all of a sudden they're not focusing. So they're all relying on what the person says to me in the clinic. I find them to do amazing things for people who haven't addressed all the emotional stuff that's going on. Bark flowers can really help with that. We also did a digestive enzyme to help her break down her protein. As she was her diet was fantastic, as I said. I got her to eat more bitter foods. That was the only other thing we did to improve her digestion. So increasing the variety of foods, we just talked about that because she was really good at eating foods. She just wasn't consistent with eating a variety, so that was good. So 6 weeks later, I could not believe the change in her nails. I actually took snaps of them. They were so good. Her indigestion and heartburn had completely cleared, and so had her bloating. She'd found that having smaller, regular pieces of protein helped her sleep, and her energy were a lot better. She also found that by eating a diverse range of foods, her anxiety had decreased. And the strategies that we talked about to get her anxiety down were also helping. So breathing, doing something for herself, taking a walk, all those sorts of things. On her next visit, she said her anxiety had felt 85% better than it had previously had been. Her nails had grown so much that she'd gotten a manicure, so that's pretty special. If you'd have seen them at the outset, I would have never thought that was possible. Her ringworm had resolved completely. The other thing about her nails, this was a really big part of her self-confidence. Her nails, she would always have her hands in her pockets. She said, I don't feel like I can talk to people because my nails look so bad and I'm really ashamed and embarrassed about them. So by having that, her nails resolve, just changed her whole outlook on life and also helped reduce the anxiety that she was having around her nails. So I do find people that have mental health issues of any sort around anxiety and depression, so eating a wide range of fruit and veg, getting the timing of the meals right can make a really huge difference. Having a heavily processed diet that's lacking in micronutrients, we need to make neurotransmitters. So neurotransmitters can't be made from processed food, because really there's not much fiber, everything that's in it's fake. So we want fresh fruit and vegetables, good fats, good quality protein. We want all those things to have a positive impact on our bacteria and also our neurotransmitters. So whether you're, I was just going to say that's Hannah in a nutshell, pretty much. So I saw her once more after that. Her nails were still great. She was up and down on the emotional side depending on what was happening at home. So that was really good that she recognised that and she was taking steps to improve that. So whether you're struggling with your bowel or any other health issues and you don't know where to go next, book in for a free 15-minute consult so I can give you some ideas to move forward. So you can do this through www.digestivedetective.com.au. I need a cup of tea now. So I look forward to chatting with you, and I will see you on Monday for our talk on habits. I look forward to it. Have a fantastic week, everybody. Enjoy. Get out and have some fun.